Hello my friends, and welcome to Gamerize. Today we're going to talk about our first impressions of the games that have been recently added to Xbox Game Pass in the first half of August, and we're really going to see if they're worth downloading or not. So let's get straight into it. First up, we have A Short Hike. This is the first game that has been added to Game Pass in August, and it's an indie adventure game that has received a ton of inspiration from games like Animal Crossing. The player controls a penguin named Claire as she adventures across a mountain and learns new skills and meets new friends. The game has a cool pixel art style that at some points can seem a little bit basic and bland, but there's other points when you're gliding across the mountain and the landscapes and the art really shines through. There's various mini games throughout the story. You're going to be doing fishing, rock climbing, gliding, you're going to be learning new games like volleyball. There's a ton packed into this little indie game, and even though the storyline is only about an hour and a half long, if you're really looking for a game where you can just turn off your brain and wind down for an evening or two, A Short Hike is going to help you do just that. Next, we have Celeste. This is a platformer originally released in 2018, and it combines a sense of urgency and mastery of the controls. The player sets out on a journey to climb Celeste Mountain in order to resolve some hidden inner conflict. Most players would agree that this is a pretty challenging game, and most of the challenge doesn't really come from enemies, it comes from the platforming itself and the various hazards. But the good thing is the controls are snappy, they're responsive, and though it may take some time getting used to, once you really do get them down, you're able to fly through each level without really hitting any obstacles or hazards. It really gives you a good sense of accomplishment, and it's fairly rewarding. As you progress through the story, you're going to come across new levels with unique looks, with unique challenges, and it really keeps the core gameplay, which is, of course, is the platforming itself. It keeps it fresh, and it keeps you really coming back for more. I'm personally not a huge fan of platformers, but I did enjoy this one. So it's easy to say that if you're someone who really likes this type of game, then this is an easy recommendation for you. Next, we have another platformer in Broforce Forever, but this time there's a lot more guns, enemies, and yes, bros. The original release of this game goes all the way back to 2014. Broforce Forever is essentially a remastered version with a fresh coat of paint, but with all the same amount of fun. There's going to be a ton of chaotic weapons, a ton of different characters to choose from, but what's really unique about this game, about the characters, is that they make a lot of really cool references to popular action movies like Men in Black, Terminator, Rambo, and a ton more that I won't spoil for you, because it makes this game, which is a typical arcade side-scroller, have this real cool sense of individuality. Of course, not every bro is created equal. You'll find characters that you prefer more than others, but what's unique about this game is that you don't actually get to select what character you want to play. It throws you into a level, you're going to be a random bro, and each time you essentially save a character to gain a life, it's going to randomize the character you're playing. It's a system at first that I didn't really like, but as I kept playing more, I got used to it and actually really began to enjoy it because it gives you a sense of randomness and it keeps you on your toes. You have to change the playstyle, and although it's not too jarring when you switch to a different character, it still gives you that sense of change and forces you to adapt to the playstyle a little bit. And perhaps the best part about this game is that it is co-op. You can play local co-op or online. It's a feature that unfortunately I didn't have the chance to try while I was playing this game, but I know one day I'm going to have a buddy come over, we're going to sit down, we're going to play some Broforce Forever, and we're going to have a really good time. Now let's talk about Limbo. This is an absolute classic, and really being the first of its kind. For those of you who don't know, Limbo is an indie puzzle-solving side-scroller that was a huge success and really an inspiration to many more games like it. You're a boy who wakes up in a mysterious, scary forest, and it's up to you to solve problems and really solve the mystery of this place. And there's no dialogue throughout the game, which leaves the interpretation really to the player, which is something that I like. And though some of the puzzles can be a little bit easy, especially at first, you will find puzzles that take a fair bit more time and deaths for you to solve. The gameplay may be simple, especially compared to its successors that have released since, but going all the way back to 2010 when this game first released, there was nothing else really like it, and it was kind of groundbreaking in the indie community, and it eventually ended up winning Best Indie Game of the Year, which is quite an accomplishment. So if you're a part of the few that have never played Limbo, then I would give it a try. You won't find high octane combat, but it will require you to think outside the box, change up your approach, and if you have a weird thing about spiders, it may give you a scare or two. And finally, we have Airborne Kingdom. This is a city builder with a unique premise of building a city in the sky. In this world, a major catastrophe has fallen onto the lands, and the once united kingdoms have now fallen apart, and it's up to the player to build this flourishing floating sanctuary and reunite all the kingdoms. This game features typical city manager systems like gathering resources, managing the happiness of the citizens, technology trees, things like that, but it also adds a few unique systems like city tilts and actually moving the city around to find more resources. Yes, the city is flying, so the player does have the ability to move around the map and find new resources, find new technologies, and it's a really cool added feature to the already tried and true city management. The performance is pretty smooth on console, and the world is really cool looking, especially with its day and night cycle. And like most city builders, there comes the challenge of building and growing a successful city. It's also a really easy way to wind down and relax for the evening, making sure your citizens are happy, and really just taking in that beautiful view. Airborne Kingdom gives the city management genre a fresh new look with the various systems that comes with a flying city, and being able to look across the horizon and decide where to go next really gives you a good sense of control and freedom. Alright, so those were our first impressions of the latest games that hit Game Pass in early August, and now it's time for us to hear your impressions. Have you tried any of these titles, and if so, which one have been your favorite? If you enjoyed this video, leaving a like is a free and easy way for you to show massive support to the channel, and we always greatly appreciate it. If you want to see more, subscribing is the best way to stay up to date, and that's it for this one. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.